Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Stevie Nicol. Later on in the show, we'll be discussing Liam Rosenior, who's officially now the Chelsea manager. But speaking of managers, of course, there is a vacant spot at Manchester United at the moment. We know Fletcher will take over for the next couple of games. Well, then what? Well, according to stories today that have snowballed, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on his way back to Old Trafford. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we? Frank Leboeuf joins us. But first, Julien Laurent. Jules, what's going on?
That's a great question. Ole back at the wheel. I never thought we would say anything like that again after what happened last time, but it seems that Manchester United want an interim manager, if you want, because as you said, Fletcher is going to be there at least for the Burnley game, probably for the FA Cup game as well. And then it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on his way back to finish the season, so all that second part of the season until United appoint a permanent manager in the summer. It's either they have no idea who could be the permanent manager right now. It could be that they want to take their time, so this time they don't mess it up and actually pick the right guy. Or it could also be that they've got no clue on how to run this football club, which is not new because obviously it's been going on for years now. But I know there was a bit of a new bounce when he arrived at the club, as we see here in 2018 after Jose Mourinho. And his win percentage is not too bad, to be fair, certainly much better than Ruben Amorim. I'm just not sure really what kind of direction that takes your team and your club, and also what it says about your club to go and get him back on the bench.
Thoughts, Stephen?
I think it makes complete sense that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would come back between now and the end of the season. I mean, you saw how it went for Amorim when he was brought in during the season. So I think it makes complete sense. The guy's well experienced. You know it's in a safe pair of hands. You know it's not going to go too far one way or the other. So it makes complete sense to me. Why would you not? And then it gives you time to try and figure out what you need to do for next season. I think Ole makes complete sense.
Frank?
Well, it makes sense, yes, if they think about somebody else next season. Otherwise, I don't know why. I don't know why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be back. I mean, it makes no sense. Really, that club and the people in charge of it, they're very surprising to not say something else. You know, I'm very surprised by the decisions. So if there is a thought behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming back, okay. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for me.
I suppose that the big question is, Jules, can he get Manchester United into a proper European spot?
Yeah, I agree. And really, we've said it often enough on the show, the quality of the Premier League so far this season is average, right? This is a great opportunity for Manchester United to actually finish in that top five, because we know that the fifth place will qualify you for the Champions League. It should anyway. And right now, they're in there. I know it's very tight between 4th and 14th. And yeah, a couple of wins or a couple of defeats can take you down the table or up again. But they've got no European competition. They only have the league to focus on. They're not even in the League Cup anymore. They will have the FA Cup, of course, this weekend on ESPN, but that's a little bit different. And that's a great opportunity. The only thing I would say on Solskjaer, just to go back to Stevie's point, what happens if he does really well between now and the end of the season? You cannot give him the permanent job again. It would be completely mad. And he's not good enough anyway to be the permanent Manchester United manager. Whereas if you, for example, give this interim job now between now and the end of the season to Michael Carrick, and Carrick does well, you could clearly give a chance to Carrick. You could give a chance to Fletcher, I guess, but at least Carrick managed in the Championship, did well with Borough, and probably has more credential in that job for a longer period than Fletcher. Give it to Carrick instead of giving to Solskjaer, because Solskjaer will never get it permanently. Whereas I think Carrick, if he proved his worth and does well for the next 4 months, then you could see him getting the permanent job, not Solskjaer.
The thing is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to win the Premier League between now and the end of the season with Manchester United. He's not going to be in the top 3. I mean, as bad as they are under Ruben Amorim, they're sitting in 6th place. So if Ole moves them up 2 other spots, then that okay. That doesn't mean you have to give him the job.
Right.
So do you want to gamble on somebody who's never been at Manchester United and could actually crumble under it like a Michael Carrick? You don't know. But what you do know is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will calm things down. He'll at very least galvanise the team together. But as I said, they ain't going to go and win the Premier League because they don't have a squad good enough that you're going to be put in a position where you have to give them the job. It's just not going to happen with the squad they have.
So, Jules, yesterday we were speculating about what could happen. Obviously, an interim manager would take over till the end of the season, and then discussions as to who could possibly take over in the summer to try and guide Manchester United back to those glory days. The general consensus from everyone kind of ticks all the boxes was Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be my choice if I was running Manchester United right now. Let's see what happens with England at the World Cup. I think he loves club football too much. I know he's enjoying his time with England now, kind of, because right now he's watching our show. That's all he's doing right now. He's got nothing to do.
He's the only one.
He's just watching ESPN FC every day. Yeah, he's the only one. And his family. But you see what I mean? So I think he misses club football, but that's another debate. But Tuchel is. But what's true about this interim coach, whether it's Solskjaer or somebody else, whatever, is that they would obviously, it's obvious, but more options to look at in the summer. Marco Silva might well be a free agent, out of contract, because his Fulham contract finishes in June. Same for Glasner. You'd have more chances really to get Iraola if you want him from Bournemouth in June and July than you have now halfway through the season. And you can look at other coaches, even in Italy or in whatever leagues, people who are in jobs right now, it's much easier to get them during the summer than it is halfway through the season. That's what it gives you as well to go for an interim coach with the pros and cons that has. For me personally, if I could write one name, I would go for Thomas Tuchel for sure.
Do you agree, Frank?
No, not at all. Because the guy is going to be involved with the World Cup. We expect England to go far in that World Cup, maybe until the final, at least the semi-final, even the quarter-final. That means that Tuchel won't have the time to work on the Manchester United project. So why the point to get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer waiting for somebody else to come, somebody who maybe won't have the time to take care of the business? So if he comes after the semi-final, it will have like 2-3 weeks to prepare the season.
But isn't that a better option, Frank, than just making do? Like, if you look at some of the other managers that might be available, we mentioned yesterday Ancelotti, Pochettino, isn't it worth the wait for a bigger name with more experience as to going with someone, say, like Glasner, who's done fantastically well at Palace, but we don't know how he'll do under that pressure going to a big club? Well, the big question is he somebody who can take care of Manchester United right now? We had big names, which they tried things, it didn't work, and nobody can deal with that right now. Really, you have to start from scratch, because that's what it is with the team. Not with the club. The club has history. But with the team, with the players, with the way it works, you have to start from scratch, because nothing works. Who would you have, Frank?
They try to compensate. Well, Glasner can be a very good idea. Anybody, maybe De Zerbi, leaving Marseille and coming to Manchester United. But again, somebody who had the time to build something, work on it, and it's somebody who's going to be has to be free, almost free right now. But think about it right now. I mean, Tuchel has too much of a task, working and making England maybe winners of something after 1966 to think about Manchester United. So for me, I understand what Jules says, but I disagree.
I'm afraid I agree with you, Dan. We don't live in a perfect world, and certainly football clubs, nothing ever goes perfectly, and you don't always get what you want. And so the ideal time to get Tuchel would be right at the end of the season. It gives them a whole summer and play with it, all the things that Frank's saying. Mm-hmm. But that's not going to happen. But does that mean that you don't get the best guy available? Because I think Tuchel is the best guy available. There's no question he will not walk into Manchester United and be overawed. He will walk into Manchester United and he will make his presence felt straight away. So I would wait. It's not ideal. You would prefer he was there before, after, depending on the World Cup. But if the best guy, you have to wait, then you get him then.
Last words of this to you, Jules.
Yeah, no, I understand what Frank is saying. I just would like to remind everybody, the Premier League next season starts on August 22nd. The World Cup final is on July 19th. That's still more than 4 weeks then. Even if you reach the final, even if you win the final, and that's not even if England lose in the semi-final, quarter-final, even before that, whatever, there's still, for me, enough time for Tuchel to go and take over. He would have his people doing the fitness work a few days before, but there's still a good 4 weeks then to prepare for Manchester United's first game of the season, for example.
This is the first time we've had, of course, all you boys together since the sacking of Ruben Amorim. Just yesterday, obviously, we discussed on Sunday after that press conference how he pretty much oozed the vibe of a man who wanted to be sacked. That's exactly what played out. Were you surprised, Stevie?
No, it was inevitable that he was going to get the sack eventually. But the fact that he came out and said what he did, it's not a shock.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. He had please sack me written all over it, and they obliged.
Over on the website, well, this is just his record here. Take a look at this, obviously. Just a 38% win percentage. 24 wins, 18 draws, and 21 defeats. Jules, no surprise for you?
No, I mean, those numbers are embarrassing. Let's call it what it is, because at times we were kind to him, we find him excuses, and there was maybe it was a little bit better at times this season to a certain extent, but this is not good enough. This is not acceptable when you're Manchester United. Even if you're not the old Manchester United, the one from Fergie, the winning one, anything you want, this is embarrassing. This would be embarrassing for any clubs in the Premier League, really. And if you look at it, actually, from the team that were there last season and are still there this season, it's only Wolves, West Ham and Spurs who have a worse record than Ruben Amorim. I mean, the guy could not even win more than 3 games in a row, and that only happened twice, by the way, in 14 months. It was embarrassing. He was just not good enough, so he had to go, and I think they would have sacked him at the end of the season regardless, but now, because he asked for it, they got rid of him now.
Taking a look at some of his lowest moments over on ESPN, they've gone through quite a few of them, as you can imagine. After the debut, of course, against Ipswich, after that draw, he said, "We're going to suffer." Marcus Rashford was, of course, famously dropped. Called the team the worst in Manchester United history. He lost that Europa League final to Spurs. Knocked out in the League Cup on penalties against fourth-tier Grimsby. And, of course, drew at home against Wolves. Stevie, you look at all of those. Which was the worst?
Well, I think if I'm a player at Manchester United and my manager comes out and says I'm part of the worst team in Manchester United history, you've lost me. Straight away.
Right.
Straight away, it's, well, what? You're blaming us. You're throwing us under the bus. That's basically what he did. He threw the whole squad, the whole starting 11, everybody under the bus. Not my fault. You're the worst team in Man United history. I mean, if you how to lose the dressing room in one easy statement? Absolutely, that one.
Frank, that one for you?
That one was when he got out with against Grimsby Town, a fourth-tier team. With all due respect, I mean, it cannot happen that way. And what he said after the game also, I mean, that's unbearable for me, and that's impossible when you're Manchester United. I mean, that's so unprofessional, and he didn't do anything to avoid that. We were feeling that it was possible for them to be out of the competition, and it happened.
Jules, Jules, I think it's fair to say that you've seen Rosenior coach more than anyone else with regards to what he's done at Strasbourg. We're discussing that jump now to Chelsea. What's the biggest task he's going to have to challenge?
I guess, I mean, this is a great question. This is a great debate to have as well, whether you're ready or not to make that step up and everything. He's still so young. He's only 41 years old. The one I would say maybe, because I do think that he's going to be a bit more pragmatic and not too dogmatic, not like Amorim, and just going in with the same system that he had at Strasbourg, where they play with a back three, which this current Chelsea team doesn't and hasn't probably played like that since the first few games of Thomas Tuchel, for example. But what I would say maybe is probably easier to convince those young players of Strasbourg to go all in terms of running and intensity and pressing and counter-pressing, because that's what they did. They were one of the teams that ran the most in Ligue 1. They were man v man everywhere on the pitch. They chased that ball forever, and they were so intense all the time. And it's probably easier to do that in Ligue 1 with Strasbourg than to ask Enzo, hey, can you man-mark Declan Rice for the whole game, please? To say to Cole Palmer, can you follow Zubimendi for the whole game, please? To ask Joao Pedro, hey, what about you stay with Virgil van Dijk the whole game, or you come and help with... This is very different. And for me, He's got such a high potential, there's no doubt. He will be a great coach. This could be too early, might not be too early, I don't know, we don't know yet. Nobody knows, not even Liam himself. But to convince those Chelsea players with big CVs, big egos, big wages, very different to what he's known now for 18 months at Strasbourg, to do everything that he wants, especially in terms of effort and all that running and everything, might be maybe the biggest challenge that he has on his hands. But it's a very exciting one.
Frank, are you excited?
I am. I'm sad for the Racing Club of Strasbourg because I know fans are very upset with that decision, but they know what it's about, and they know that since the Chelsea Football Club, in fact, bought Strasbourg, it's something can happen. But I'm very excited because I saw him doing his job for a year and a half with Strasbourg, and he worked so hard, and the football that he has shown has been very productive and very efficient. And I saw the game that he played away from home against Paris Saint-Germain when they drew 2-2. I can tell you that was anything but hard for Paris Saint-Germain to deal with Strasbourg. They're very excited to watch. So I'm expecting the same with Chelsea. Yes, some players are, let's call, big stars at Chelsea, but they have to move. They will have to move their bottom if they want to be in the team, because I saw Ben Chilwell struggling at the beginning and working hard after and being very efficient, very good.
But Frank, Ben
this
Chilwell
season
at Strasbourg is very
with Chelsea.
different to Ben Chilwell at Chelsea, and we've seen it a little bit. Surely you can almost compare it to Real Madrid. Obviously, Chelsea not as successful players as a squad, but you've got a manager coming in wanting you to work, wanting you to do what they've done with teams of younger players. Yet he hasn't been able to do that at Real Madrid. Why should Liam be able to do this at Chelsea?
Well, I don't see the difference because I don't see any big star at Chelsea. We have champion of the world like Enzo Fernandez. We have good players like Caicedo, of course, Cole Palmer or anybody else. But if they want to play, they will have to listen to the coach. I mean, I maybe come from another time, but I play with Gianfranco Zola. I play with so many big stars who listen to the coaches that we had and never complained about what they had to do. I mean, those players, they have to stop thinking that they are above the coach. And the coach has to be good, big enough and strong enough to say, shut up, I tell you to do that. If you don't do that, you don't play. That would be the way I would conduct my squad. And I think Rosenior, what I saw with Chelsea, with Strasbourg, with the big pressure. Strasbourg is not as big as Chelsea, of course, with the media, everything. But Strasbourg is considered, and the city is considered as a little Marseille. So the pressure is huge by the fan. And I'm very unhappy when they saw Chelsea coming and taking care of Strasbourg, because they knew that they could lose their team. So Liam was already under pressure, and I'm not sure he feels that. I'm sure he can handle that. I wish him to handle that and to make sure that the dressing room follows him.
The dressing room, regardless of the level, when a new manager comes in, the first thing you have to do as a manager is convince your players you know what you're talking about. That's the first thing you have to do.
Right.
But the problem is when you're the manager of Chelsea, even if you convince your players you know what you're talking about and they follow your instruction, when things are going poorly, does that affect you as the coach? Do you start changing because the outside noise is telling you to change formation, like Amorim was getting blasted with it? So that's the key for Rosenior. That's the key. Clearly he can coach. The boys have watched him at Strasbourg. I haven't, but you can see he can coach. The problem is you're going to Chelsea and you have to win, and if you don't win, everybody's telling you what to do. And not only are the fans and everybody else on the outside telling you what to do, it seems at Chelsea that the people in the building are telling you what to do as well. That's going to be his biggest problem. Can he handle that? Can he stay the same under that type of pressure? That's the biggest problem he'll have.
And is that something only time will tell?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If he's made of strong stuff, he will cut out the noise and he will do what he thinks and believes is the right thing at all times. If he doesn't do that and he starts changing because there's noise coming from up the stair or from the terraces or wherever, that's when he'll have a problem.
Will he be there at the start of next season, Jules?
Yeah, I think he will. I think it's a very interesting one. I think he has something in terms of man management with the players for sure. Again, he's young. He knows the codes. He not that long ago he was still a player, and yeah, with the glasses he looks very intellectual, which I think he is. Certainly differently than maybe other managers. But I think his relationship, certainly at Strasbourg, and again, it might be different, but a dressing room is a dressing room still. The codes and everything, the way he works, and I think he's got that. He's got that kind of relationship with his players. So I hope on that level that will be fine. And then it's that step up that we mentioned at the start of this segment. Can he make that step up to the Premier League? Obviously, so much more difficult than Ligue 1, but I think some of the principles could work there. Let's see the system, let's see the formation, let's see the ideas. Will he be a bit more pragmatic? Will he be a bit more cautious than going all gun blazing like he did in France, for example, which worked in Ligue 1, but probably, as we saw with Postecoglou, for example, because there's a few similarities between some of the ideas, certainly with the ball, that in the Premier League might be too risky. Let's see what he does, but he's a really smart kid, so I've got no doubt that he would adapt well.
Are you suggesting he doesn't need the glasses, Jules?
Like me.
No, I think it's. No, I think the glasses makes him look great. That's
there you go. Yeah, if he's wearing contact lenses.
Does it work on everybody?
If he's still stuck in France, it really doesn't work on everybody.
We don't all look like intellectual with glasses. Only
no.
Liam.
Name names.
Stevie.
That's very true. Apparently, there was an email about this photo which I didn't read. Frank used to play for Strasbourg, hence the link to...
I thought it was just a funny photo they were putting up.
Rosenior. So there is the link, which apparently I didn't mention. Arsenal are big favourites to win at the Premier League. Of course, 6 points clear at the top of the table. Manchester City's back line literally falling apart. Diaz is out. Vardiol is out as well. Vardiol's out for the rest of the season. Ruben Diaz is out for at least a month. John Stones, who knows what's going on with John Stones? No one seems to know. Jules, this is a massive problem, obviously, for City. How are they going to address it now in the January transfer window?
I think they have to go for at least one defender, if not two, to be fair. I know Guardiola was a bit cautious, saying, let's see, we can cope. Of course, he was always going to say that, but when you look at the Chelsea game, and they ended that game with a back four of Mateus Nunes at right back, Nico Riley at left back, who both of them, as we know, obviously are not full backs, and then Kusanov and Ake as the two centre backs, and nobody on the bench. That's the thing as well. And if one of them, Rico Lewis, but you know, if something happens to one of them, it gets even worse. So they have to go for somebody in the transfer window for sure in January, whether that's Margay and trying to tempt him away from Crystal Palace and paying for it, because obviously everybody knows now that they badly need defenders in January, or is to go somewhere else. But I think, remember what they did last January, which was a little bit different, but they went for Kusanov, they went for Vitor Reis, two young centre-back, very promising, but not ready clearly. Remember that debut for Kusanov against Chelsea at the Etihad, which was very difficult. So I think they would go for a more established Premier League defender, a more experienced one as well.
Semenyo looks like he's got the green light, Jules. Does that have any effect with regards to how much money they can spend now on defenders?
No, I don't think so. I think they've got a bit of a war chest there because they sold really well. Guardiola referred to it again today in his press conference. So those 65 million release clause will go to Bournemouth in one payment, by the way. That's the case in most release clauses. But there will still be enough to sign at least centre-back, maybe two, depending on the second one. But even if you want a Margay type with 6 months left on his contract, they will have enough money for that.
So, Frank, is that it? Is it Arsenal's title?
Well, it could be. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you cannot survive and chase for the title without Ruben Dias and Guardiola, and it was already difficult with them. So imagine without them. And Ake, he has proven that he can deal with that, but Kusanov is not ready for me, and you cannot bet on that, especially as Jules said, with nobody on the bench in case some of them is either red-carded or injured. So you need somebody else. It will cost a lot because you need a leader. You absolutely need at least one leader to make sure you can chase Arsenal. Otherwise, it's already over.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. If they don't go and push the boat out to try and sign defenders, then we know that they're thinking about the future as opposed to spending a lot of money on maybe players that they normally wouldn't take, because that's kind of where they're going to be. You know, does anybody really think Gay's going to turn around and move in this January window? I don't think so. If I'm Gay, I'm not doing that.
If you're Palace, though, do you not take the money? It's not...
Well, the problem is it's not in Palace's hand. It's in Mark Gay's hands. If Mark Gay wants to go to Real Madrid, then City are done. City ain't getting him. So they're in a tough place. They're going to have to sign 2 experienced guys that normally they wouldn't want. That's kind of where they are. And we'll find out, because if they don't do that, then we'll know that they are just basically saying, OK, this year the Premier League is just out of our reach because of the situation. So we'll find out.
Maybe they can buy Gabriel and Saliba, and that would be a very good move if they want to win the title.
That would help.
Jules, where will Gay be at the end of the month?
It's a great question. I agree with Stevie. I think if you're in his position, really, you have to wait 6 months. And then in 6 months' time, you're a free agent. You will have clubs like City, like Liverpool, like others, like queuing up for you, really. And then you'd get more money as a free agent. You'll get a massive signing on fee as a free agent, which you won't get now because City or somebody else who come and get you will have to pay a transfer fee to Palace. So it makes more sense for him to wait. That he might decide otherwise and to move now because he wants to work with Pep and he can win the Premier League and he can win the Champions League. All of that, of course he can. So it's not as straightforward as us here saying, stay where you are, win the Conference League, finish top 10 in the Premier League, you'll have a great season again, and then go wherever you want as a free agent in the summer. It's not as simple as that. But I agree with Stevie. If I was him, I would stay put.
And it's a goalkeeper that's grabbed all the headlines. San Joan very much. The sentiment, St. Joan, of course, after that incredible performance in that Catalan derby up against his old side. Goodness me, what a special guest we have on. Sid Lowe has found a little space for us. What a treat. And he's got quite facial hair as well. It's the first time I've seen that, Sid. Is that for a bet?
I was just thinking, do I need to put, according to Jules, I need to put the glasses on, don't I? Does that make me look more intellectual?
Exactly. Assistant manager
Trouble
at
is, it doesn't
Chelsea
work
now.
because the light reflects on it.
OK, right then.
I could be. I mean, everyone else has had a go, Dan, so why shouldn't I?
Well, maybe not. Championship manager would say that everyone's been waxing lyrical, wouldn't they, about Joan Garcia over the last 48 hours?
Of course I have, because his performance was so good. Admittedly, some of the excitement was taken away from him by the other Garcia the following night when Gonzalo Garcia got a hat-trick for Real Madrid. But there was a real sense, I think, of the derby performance from Joan Garcia being really important in terms of how he responded to the pressure, because there was a huge amount of pressure on him, a huge amount of noise around him in the way that he played and the maturity of that performance, and if you like, the kind of the emotional control of it as well. But I also think what it did was it cemented something that had already been forming in people's minds, and that is the idea that Barcelona have bought themselves a player who's a genuine game changer, and may well be for a decade or more, that this is a really significant signing. It's not just a guy who had one good game, it's a guy who's looked really good all season. Look, last year, there's no two ways about it. Szczesny coming out of retirement and winning a treble for Barcelona and getting to a European Cup semi-final and very nearly reaching a final was one of the great stories in football. But I think deep down, when we stripped away all of that and we stripped away how good his performances were as well, I think everybody kind of felt at the end of last season, yeah, but Barcelona really need a goalkeeper that takes them up a level. And I think what's happened with Joan Garcia is that they've started to think they've found him.
What has been apparent, of course, with Barcelona so far this season, as they look short at the back, they have brought in a new fullback, an interesting fullback as well, as Joan Cancelo returns to Barcelona, looking to guide them, of course, across the finish line in La Liga and the Champions League. Surprise signing, says the front page of Sport. Here's Hansi Flick.
I need to ask you about the signing of Joan Cancelo. How was the process of choosing him? Was him the first option? Because maybe a centre-back was more expected. How was this process and how is it going? Thank you.
For us, so Dico and I, and also with my staff, I spoke with them. We discussed a lot of things, and at the end is Ronald when he's back. So we have, I think, also in the centre backs good options, but also with Joao, maybe he can give us more options also as a fullbacks, both sides. He is in the offense, a good quality. But at the end, how I know it till now, it's not done. So it's just for that. If it works, I will be happy. I think we have one more options in the offense, and this is it. It's for us. We discuss it. Also bring a centre back. But I think it makes more sense. It's 6 months now, and I think it's a good option, and is a high quality player.
Sid, those who have watched Barcelona this season, I doubt their first thought was, you know what Barca really need is more attacking fullbacks.
Yeah, more attacking fullbacks, more defenders who don't chase their men, who are not particularly tactically disciplined, that may well have lots of talent but don't have those things that Barcelona have lacked this year. Now, I think Hansi Flick's response there, I think, is actually a pretty good one, in that there's a degree of analysis there, there's a degree of explaining why he thinks it works. But of course, one of the reasons why this deal has happened is because it can happen. When you go into the winter window, you don't always have the possibility to make the signings that you really, really want. You have to look at the potential alternatives. You've got a player who's been there before. You've got an agent who has a very close relationship with the president, and so you know you can get the deal done. You have a player who is desperate to go there, so you know it can happen. And I suppose in that sense, you look at it, and as Hansi Flick admits there in that clip, we looked at centre-backs. Yeah, they did. And they didn't find one. What this might do, of course, is enable them to have, for example, Eric Garcia, who's played some games at right back. He can now be seen as a centre-back, although he's also played in midfield. Jules Koundé, who's played the whole season more or less at right back, could maybe now play at centre-back. But it is true that this doesn't really address the issue that Barcelona had in hand, but maybe it gives them more options, and so perhaps allows them just to have a little bit more, if nothing else, just in terms of numbers within the back four.
Tomorrow, of course, live on ESPN is Barcelona against Atletico, the first semi-final of the Spanish Supercopa. Sid, how seriously are both of these teams taking it?
Has less significance, obviously, than the other trophies. I think for many years it was one of these competitions in which people thought, well, it doesn't count as an actual trophy, not least because it was at the start of the season. It was a one-off game between two clubs. They obviously played two-legged, but it was a one-off trophy. Now, I think actually the move of the Super Cup to midway through the season, the move of the Super Cup in terms of the formation and having 4 teams in it, I think has changed it and has given it much more significance. I still think there's all sorts of debate to be had about the fact that it's gone to Saudi Arabia, and I think lots of people are still very unhappy about that, including Iñaki Williams. But as a competition, now it is taken seriously. And it is taken very, very seriously. In particular, these 4 clubs, maybe Barcelona less than the other 3. But I would argue that 3 of the 4 clubs here look at this and think, this is an opportunity for Real Madrid to, if you like, begin something of a comeback. And for the other 2, it's the opportunity, possibly the only opportunity, to win something this season.
So Barcelona against Athletic Club. Our coverage starts then tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern. You can see that live on ESPN2. And then 24 hours later, it's Real Madrid in action against Atletico Madrid. Very differing weekends for both of the Madrid-based sides. Of course, Atletico dropping points once again away from home. For Real Madrid, it was all about Gonzalo Garcia. A night then he will never forget at the Santiago Bernabeu. No surprises. He's on the front pages of the 2 main Madrid-based newspapers. Marca saying Gonzalo es un majo. Is he? What is he said? A king? A crown? What is he?
Right. Well, this is a difficult one to translate properly. A mago, in this sense, really is one of the wise men, one of the 3 wise men. Remember that today is Kings in Spain. It's the arrival of the 3 wise men in Bethlehem. It's if you like, Christmas Day in Spain. And so it's being presented as one of the wise men. But mago also means a magician or a wizard.
An absolute dream. It's something that I imagine that he thought about a lot when you were a youngster, when you're playing throughout the Real Madrid under-12, working your way up through, and then you go and do that. After starring for Castilla, to put in that sort of performance is just extraordinary.
I mean, it really is. And you know, you see his reaction. I loved his reaction at the end where there's a moment where he kind of looks across the pitch and sort of thinks, where's the ball gone? And actually, Mejia Davila, who's the matchday delegate at Real Madrid, a former referee, as soon as the final whistle went, he was dashing across the pitch to make sure that he got to the match ball before anyone else, to make sure that Gonzalo Garcia wasn't in a position where he wasn't going to find it. He looked at it. He was kind of this, pointing at this thing as if to say, well, wow, look at this. Isn't this just amazing? Which, of course, it is. He knows. He's realistic enough to know that he's at a club like Real Madrid, that he's got a player like Kylian Mbappe in front of him, that he's not going to play a huge amount, or didn't think he was going to play a huge amount. Of course, he went to the Club World Cup and was top scorer. Then as soon as Mbappe was fit, he was then not actually left out the side, but moved to the right-hand side of the forward line. Had only started one game before this weekend. So it's just phenomenal. And it's a brilliant hat-trick as well. 2 of the 3 goals are absolutely fantastic. It's a goal for his right foot, a goal from his left foot, and a goal with a header. And I think what it does as well is it confirms something, because this isn't just a player out of nowhere. This is a player who, as a youth team player, running through the Real Madrid system all the way back to the age of 10, scored loads and loads and loads of goals, sometimes from a wide position rather than a central forward position. And if you talk to staff at the Spanish Football Federation, where of course he's come through the junior teams there as well, they are absolutely enamoured of him. And they think that this isn't chance, that they think this is a genuinely special player. Now, of course, the difficulty is you're at possibly the club in the whole world where it's hardest to get minutes.
Said that's the question then, isn't it? How long, if you're Garcia, how long do you wait? Because if Vinny's going nowhere and Mbappe's going nowhere, he's not getting a game. I mean, if I'm Arsenal, Chelsea, anybody else, I'm throwing money at this guy and throwing money at Real Madrid because he's not going to play.
No, and actually, Steve, I think without the Club World Cup in the summer, I think he would already have gone from Real Madrid. Now, I want to make this very clear here: he would have gone from Real Madrid on loan. I think this season he would have been playing at Getafe or, be still my beating heart, he might even have gone to a club like Real Oviedo in the summer because there was an opportunity there for him to play and get minutes. I know. I'm beating myself up over it. I'm thinking, my God, if it hadn't been for the stupid, sexy Club World Cup, he might have gone on loan for a season, and things would look very, very different. But anyway, so actually, Steve, you're right. The question is, what happens now? How long does he wait for? How patient can he be? And now, of course, the opportunities to go somewhere else will be different clubs at a different level and potentially on a permanent deal. Now, there's one big caveat here, though. You just said if Mbappe is going nowhere, if Vinicius is going nowhere, okay. So here's the question: is Vinicius going nowhere? Is the structure of that forward line going to be the same next season, or will opportunities open in a different place for Gonzalo Garcia?
Well, go on then. You're the journo. Where's he going to be next season? Oh, Vinny.
Okay. Well, I think Real Madrid have a situation with Vinicius which needs resolving, which isn't necessarily to say that Vinicius goes, but I think right now that is a possibility that Gonzalo Garcia's agents and, of course, Real Madrid will have to entertain at the moment. We'll have to think about how that plays out. But of course it's likely that Gonzalo Garcia is put in a position where maybe he moves. Now, I suspect that what will happen, and we've seen it before, and look, take Real Madrid's current captain, Dani Carvajal. He went to Germany for a year and came back. Now, he went to Germany sold, not on loan, and he came back with them paying, if you like, a re-signing fee. And I think that's a formula that potentially would work very well for them, to send him to somewhere in which they have a buyback clause, which they can meet reasonably comfortably. I think we'll see this with Nico Paz, for example, at some point, probably next summer, that he's likely to come back, and that they will give themselves the chance to not lose him permanently, but to also give him minutes. Because, of course, he's a young player. But at 21, and I know this is stating the obvious, at 21, he's not a teenager. He's not a 17, 18, 19-year-old who you can think, look, it doesn't matter if he only gets 10 or 15 games a season. He's at an age where he needs to be getting 25, 30 games a season.
Final question, Sid. What does Claire say about that?
About what?
The, what's on your face?
I think she knows that there's that this is just laziness. It's Christmas. I should make something very clear, by the way.
Yep.
This isn't a moustache. It's just that the colour of the beard isn't uniform. Unfortunately, this has not been a deliberate decision to look like I can walk into a biker bar. This is to do with it growing back at different colours. Unfortunately.
All right, Sid. Much appreciated as always. Thank you very much, mate. A big couple of days then for the Spanish Super Cup. Just a reminder, the Barca game tomorrow, then Atleti against Real Madrid on Thursday. I feel like you've already doubted yourself. So the quarter-final lineup is set: Mali, Senegal, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Algeria, Nigeria, and Cameroon. And Morocco, a lot of big boys there facing off for a place in the semi-finals. Jules, take us through your bracket. How's it going to play out?
Yeah, I think it's been a great tournament so far, and those are the big boys. They're the team that we expected. I think it's the first time in history that all the top 8 seeds qualified for the quarterfinals for the last 8. Here they are. They're the best team. I think Mali would be too difficult against a very, very strong Senegal team. Mo Salah against Ivory Coast. I like what we saw from Ivory Coast today. I think Egypt has been a bit it's been a bit difficult for them even to get. We saw yesterday against Benin, for example, how laborious it was in the way they played too, and they had to win in extra time. So I went for Ivory Coast, but this could be tight. I think the game of the quarterfinal, without a doubt, is Algeria against Nigeria. Two teams in great form. Okay, Algeria needed extra time today to win against Congo, but they've been great in this tournament. For me, the best team. And Nigeria with Lookman and Osimhen, although they had a massive argument on the pitch yesterday in the last 16, they also have been outstanding. And I think Algeria, in a tight result, will just go through to meet Morocco in the semi-final, because I think the home advantage is huge for Walid Regragui and his team. So we get two amazing semi-finals, and I think Senegal and Morocco will book their place for the final, and Morocco will be the winner in the end.
Thank you very much, Jules. Meanwhile, action in Italy today and some significant results regarding the title race as well. We saw your victories for Juventus and for Roma. Meaning, take a look at that. 3 points separate the top 5 in Italy. Yes, the top 3, though, do have 2 games in hand. A lot more on that. What's going on in the African Cup of Nations? Gab with the inside look at what's going on at Chelsea as well. Be sure to check out the latest edition of the Gab and Jules podcast, which drops on Thursday. You can see West Ham now sit 7 adrift of Forest. Ooh. It's difficult to put up an argument that any of those 3 in 18th, 19th and 20th are going to survive. Meanwhile, lots of matches on Wednesday in the Premier League. Bournemouth Spurs, Palace Villa, Fulham Chelsea, City Brighton, Burnley United, Newcastle against Leeds. Let's welcome back, shall we? Jules and Frank are with us. Let's start with you, Frank. Which of those games are you most excited about?
Not a lot, but maybe the derby, Fulham against Chelsea. I want to see how Liam Rosenior is doing for his first game, and how the players going to react to the Maresca sacking. So, yeah, I'm going to watch that one.
Jules?
I think Burnley, Manchester United, obviously, Darren Fletcher, everything that's happened this week for United in a derby. I know Burnley are not big rivals for United, but they're very close to each other. I don't think Turf Moor is an easy place to go. Even this poor Burnley team that is second from bottom could cause problems to United. So let's see what kind of system Fletcher plays, what kind of mood the players are on, with all the injuries that they also have. I think it'd be very interesting.
Stephen?
Oh, City Brighton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, how's City going to react with the 2 centre-backs they're going to be playing with? I mean, Brighton are a side that have got so much pace. They could worry Man City big time.
We'll, of course, be back tomorrow to take a look at those games. Be sure to join us. We'll also be reflecting on Barcelona against Athletic Club in the Spanish Super Cup. FA Cup then takes over this weekend. Friday, it all starts. Wrexham against Nottingham Forest. All these games, of course, live on ESPN+, including the likes of Newcastle, Bournemouth, Spurs, Aston Villa, Charlton, Chelsea. And then on Sunday, Manchester United against Brighton. Monday sees Liverpool against Barnsley. And the Bundesliga is back on Friday. Eintracht Frankfurt against Borussia Dortmund. That match live on ESPN2. Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you very much for all your messages. Now, do you know what Grok is, Stevie?
What?
Grok.
Grok?
Yes,
Not a clue.
Grok is the AI system that is on X. You can ask it any question you like.
All right.
Someone asked about the 3 pundits who are on today. They replied to my tweet asking what questions. We'll start with a nice one. Julien Laurent, French football journalist, ESPN's Ligue 1 expert with deep European insights. You'll take that, Jules?
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
I would have just put Gab's number 2, but there we go. Frank Leboeuf, former Chelsea and France star, World Cup winner, insightful pundit on ESPN FC. That's when you wear your glasses.
Oh.
I love it, you know,
Yes.
and I love, you know, the only word that I say that I like is the star. I love that one. Thank you very much.
That's on.
Stevie Nicol, I would say this is the least complimentary of the 3.
Oh, good.
Ex-Liverpool defender. Bit bland considering everything you achieved.
All right.
ESPN FC analyst, known for blunt takes. How would you take blunt takes? Doesn't sound...
I'm really no bothered. What? No?
Oh, I feel it should have been nicer to you, Stevie.
No, what's wrong
Oh,
with
that's
that?
a bit short. That's a little bit. No, that's not good. That's underrated.
Jules,
I'm all right with it.
Jules, today I've been spending the day today practicing Liam Rosenior instead of Rosenior, as it seems that's how he prefers to be called. So that was my focus today, and apparently that is how he wants to be addressed now. Am I right, Rosenior?
Yes, that's it, yeah.
There we go. Perfect.
Well
Well,
Honestly, I played against his dad,
yes.
and he was Rosenior.
Well,
And when Liam was playing, he was called Rosenior, and he never piped up then.
the voice message I got was from his dad saying how to pronounce it properly.
Well, his dad never piped up 30 years ago.
Well, what does he know about his
Hey.
name?
So you say what? You say Rosenior?
Rosenior.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Or gone in 6 months, whatever you prefer. Jules, is there any substance to the rumour that Chelsea is pursuing Vinicius Jr.?
I mean, I would love to say yes for the Chelsea fans who would love to see Vinny at Stamford Bridge, for sure, including Frank. But I would just leave you with this, and it's very simple. And I know it's not always about money. Vinicius Jr. right now at Real Madrid earns between, depending on the bonus and etc., but between 18 and 20 million euros net per year. Chelsea highest earner right now, and I don't count Raheem Sterling because he's the highest earner, but obviously doesn't really count in this discussion, is Reece James, who earns gross per year around 11 million pounds.
Right.
18 or 19 million net, 11 gross. This is it. That's all you need to know. This is never going to happen.
Oh, there we go.
And imagine he signs and he doesn't track back when he loses the ball. Whatever.
Frank has been laughing at his own jokes all day.
No, I'm just saying that I would be Reece James and we earn half of what Vinicius runs, and the guy doesn't track back when he loses the ball. I don't know what's going on in the dressing room between him and I, because that would be great to watch, because I would never accept that kind of guy.
If Stevie could change 3 things at Liverpool right now, what would they be? What are your blunt takes?
Only 3. I mean, you can't change the manager, so that's it.
Why not?
Well, because why would you?
Because he's doing rubbish.
Well, I mean, there's the players that have come in, and there's a lot. You have to look at them, and a lot of the blame has to be on them, not just the coach.
Okay.
You got Kerkez, who nobody thought would do anything other than be great, but actually looks as though he's holding them back.
Do you get Trent back?
I think I would, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
One thing you changed?
Yeah, because listen, I'd love to change one of the centre backs, but you can't do that because there's nobody else. I'd love to be able to sit Kanati down, but you can't.
You could say
2 full-backs. Conor Bradley as well, in my opinion, has not fulfilled the potential that he showed when he first came in the team. So to me, both full-backs are struggling big time. Frimpong, you can't really question yet. He's hardly kicked a ball because he's been injured. The midfield, I mean, considering how good they were last year, are you just going to throw them all out?
I don't know, Steve. This is getting quite a long answer without any answers.
Well, because there's not... I mean, if you're going to change things, you have to change them for the
You're
better.
supposed to be blunt.
Well, apparently I'm not blunt then. I think AI will be changing its tune then, huh?
Right, so
that's another way of saying shut it.
Well, no, I'll just get to the point.
No, that's blunt. There you go.
You are good. Unai Emery has great success with Europa League table sides, winning the competition 4 times, but failed, Jules, at Arsenal and couldn't take PSG past the round of 16 in the Champions League. Does he deserve another crack at a top European side or even Man U?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think he probably earned at Villa, with everything that he's done there, probably another chance for sure. I don't think he would leave Villa for Manchester United right now, maybe not in the summer. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But yeah, it's not because things didn't go his way in Paris, for example, where I don't think it was all on him, to be honest. And there's still a question mark over, is he just a great coach at a club that is a very good club like Villa, but just not one of the biggest clubs in the world, really, which they're not. I don't know. It's only if he gets the chance at United or a club like that, at City one day, or or Liverpool, or what those kind of clubs, Real Madrid or Barcelona, whatever, where maybe we'll have the answer to that question. But it's true, at PSG and at Arsenal, it didn't really work out for him. There were some good things, but overall it was good. And I was trying to do an answer like Stevie, like not blunt at all, by not really answering the question, but waffling.
Yep.
But I could not do it. I had to take it seriously.
Wow. Catching straight from Jules.
Thanks, Jules. Cheers, all the best.
Sorry, my friend. Sorry.
Frank, if you were Unai Emery, would you go to Manchester United in the summer if it was offered to you?
No, not at all. But again, what I said during the show, you have no basics there. You don't know where to go. You don't know where they're going to go. They don't have the player that they need. It's such a mess. It's just a real shambles that he has created something at Aston Villa that he can be good. No, but that's the truth. I mean, due to that club that I've known, that I played against, and I've seen how big that club was. That's a big shambles. That's a big mess, really. I think the fans will be very upset with what they see, and it's not a Unai Emery or so far nobody that I see who can resolve the problem. So Unai Emery is creating something amazing at Aston Villa, and Aston Villa is not a small club. It's a very good club, and it's a big club. They can win stuff. So I will advise him to stay there and maybe try to win something with them.
Depends on Unai Emery, doesn't it? If Unai Emery thinks he is one of those elite managers that should be at the supposed top club, then that's really all that matters. Because if he does, then you go. He's got to think, I can sort this out. And what better way of showing how good I am than to take a club that ever since Alex Ferguson was in charge has been dragging along, basically. So that's the real key. What does Unai Emery think? If he thinks he should, then he'll take it.
Jules? To me, this person holds a grudge like my missus. Back in 2024, ESPN had a ranking of the best players of the 21st century, with Zlatan 5 places higher than Benzema. Surely you disagree, as Benzema has 4 Champions Leagues to Zlatan 0, plus the fact that Benzema won the Ballon d'Or.
As you know, Karim is my boy, obviously, so I would always have him higher than Ibra and higher than a lot of other players. I don't remember this ranking in 2024. I must have been involved, like Stevie and Frank, I'm sure, and you, Dan. I can't really remember how we ended up with Karim in 16th place and Ibra in 11th, because really, I know Ibra was great and he had great skill set for the size of him and technique, all of that. But Benzema was an incredible number 9, really. So I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, I agree. I would have Benzema way above Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Frank?
Yeah, I agree. And according to what he won, of course, you have to place him before Zlatan. I'm very fan of Zlatan. I mean, that guy was spectacular, and you go to stadium to see those players with a big personality and a big talent. But what Benzema was capable of doing to Real Madrid and with Real Madrid under Ronaldo, serving the big star and then becoming the star and the guy who won the Champions League, because he was the guy who made the difference when they won the Champions League with Courtois. They were the two who made the difference, being able to beat where they should have lost against Chelsea, against Manchester City, against Paris Saint-Germain. That year, they won the Champions League because of Benzema. So Benzema should have been in a better position, and I don't know. I'm sure I wasn't involved with that.
Stevie, do you think Klopp deserves a statue at Anfield for his accomplishments with Liverpool and for raising the standard of the Premier League?
No, what's with these statues all of a sudden? No.
So according to Grok, There are no Liverpool players who have statues,
No.
but 2 managers do.
So you got, I'm guessing, Shankly and Paisley.
Exactly right. So should Klopp make the hat-trick of managers?
Well, I think if you stack Klopp's silverware up against Bob Paisley, then he doesn't come close.
Right.
Shankly's a different ball game. You can't really talk about silverware with Shankly because yes, he won silverware, but it was what he did that built the club, so that Paisley could go on and do what Paisley did as well. So I would say no. I don't think so. No.
What people maybe don't know is that Frank has got a house in Normandy, and as you drive up to it, there is a life-size statue of Frank holding the World Cup.
No.
Isn't that right, Frank?
Which is completely untrue. But I was imagining, the thing, and I love it. I will talk to the mayor. Why not?
Dan, one of your old Real Madrid boys.
Yep.
The Mexican centre forward. What's his name?
Chicharito?
No.
Hugo Sanchez?
Hugo Sanchez.
Yep.
Hugo Sanchez. Yeah. I remember in pre-season, we were going down the motorway, and somebody said to us that Hugo Sanchez has a villa on the beach, right? And you can see it from the motorway. He's got a big bronze statue of himself.
Yes.
At the back of his thing when he does his when he does his thing.
He's not shy.
Oh my goodness!
There are stories when he was coaching, he would give the strikers DVDs of himself to watch to show how it was done.
Wow.
You can find worse than me. You see, in terms of ego.
Well, yes, I suppose he does fill that void. Finally, for Jules and Frank, well, Jules probably more. Will Wemby win MVP this season? We're going basketball.
Who?
That's a great question. I would love him too. The problem is, no, it's not the problem, but where I'm starting to worry a little bit is that he's already missed a few games, and as all the big NBA fans who are watching us, you need at least 65 games played in the 82-game regular season to be eligible for those trophies, whether it's MVP or others. And I think he can still get to 65, but he can't miss many more now, because right now he's still not playing. He's been a week off. He's obviously had the other injury previously in the season, so he will have to be careful. So yes, I think he can still win it, although I think that because of those little niggles and injuries, he might become short in terms of purely on statistic and match played, and I think he will go to SGA or Luka Doncic.
Stevie, at what point did you switch off during that answer?
Was he finished?
Frank, would you like to add anything?
No. It's funny because I went to see a doctor for my wife today, and the guy he has all the big players. He had Mbappe, he had Giroud shirt on his in his how do you say, office.
Yes.
And there was Wembanyama a shirt as well, and I was really jealous about that. Not Giroud and Mbappe, but about Wemby shirt. Because that guy is huge, and he's a great guy. He's such a nice guy, and I would love to see him winning the MVP.
Was the shirt signed?
Yes. Yeah. It was.
Well, you could have bought a shirt and stuck Wemby on it, couldn't he?
Yes, he could. That is it. That brings us to the end of today's Extra Time. We will return tomorrow to reflect on those Premier League matches, plus the semi-final of the Spanish Super Cup.